You've counted every calorie, tried every diet, spent hours in the gym, and still something's missing. You want more than just weight loss. You want your energy back. You want your confidence restored. You want a way of living that doesn't feel like punishment. Welcome to Master Your Metabolism, where we cut through the noise, ditch the fads, and give you a real plan to become the healthiest, strongest version of you. Hosted by our team of expert coaches with proven strategies, science-based tips, and real-life encouragement, not just to help you lose fat, but actually create that lifestyle that you love. You've tried everything. Now, let's try what actually works. This is your turning point. Let's go. Hey there, everybody. Welcome to Master Your Metabolism. And I am here with Coach Amanda. And we were actually having this conversation the other day about clients that have actually met their goal. And some of us, her and I included, that have met a goal, felt amazing, felt we accomplished our goal, only to have life happen and throw us backwards. And it's really frustrating. And it's really, you sometimes get to a point like you got there, you felt it, you saw it. And then just like that, it gets ripped out from underneath you. And we really wanted to kind of bring that out because we see it a lot with our clients, a lot of people that things happen and many of them, it's out of their control. It's not like they went out and started eating like this, right? So something happens with their health, with their stress, with something. And I wanted to bring this to everybody's attention and give them some insight and also some strategies and things and ways you can look at things in order to get you back to where you want to go. So, Amanda, I'm going to have you kind of start off. Again, you can share part of your journey or something with one of your clients, but I think it would be really helpful for people.
Yeah, this was kind of inspired, this conversation Brooke and I happen to have by my own current situation. For the last year, my life had been under some really unbelievably stressful, life-changing things. Not just like I'm stressed at work, but I mean, I'll say I got a divorce, my dog died, like I sold my house. I had to do all of these things in life, and I'm still eating my food. I'm still hitting my macros. I'm still going to the gym, but I started to feel crazy because my body was no longer responding the way it had responded just months earlier. And for me, especially having been 250 pounds, where I was a year and a half ago was my dream. I hit it. I got there. I was as strong as I wanted to be. I looked the way I wanted to look. I was proud and confident. And all of a sudden, I did the exact same things that got me there, but it wasn't working anymore. And at first, my response was anger. That's how I handled it at first, because it's just not fair. And, I can like hear my dad in my head saying life isn't fair because, it's true. We have to get through life, you do have to accept that there is some unfairness involved.
Yes.
But usually it feels like if you could implement some amount of control, you should be able to get something out of it. But in my case, my cortisol level was so high that my body was no longer functioning the way that it used to. I was weak in the gym. I couldn't lift like hundreds of pounds weaker in the gym all of a sudden. Joint pain. I'm not sleeping. I'm tired. I'm in a deficit. We were in 1,000-calorie deficit and I was gaining weight and I'm following it. I'm not eating cheeseburgers. Like I'm doing the things and it's not working. And you look around you and everybody else's stuff seems to be working, but yours isn't. And you get this feeling like I'm defective. There's something wrong with me, instead of the reality, which is that there's something going on right now that is traumatic to my person. The thing I tell my clients about trauma is it doesn't have to be physical abuse, sexual abuse. Trauma is whatever you perceive as traumatic. Losing all my muscle was traumatic, not because I couldn't lift things in the gym anymore, but because of what my muscle means to me. If I can't lift things in the gym, then I'm weak. And if I'm weak, how do I get through all of this? And I lost that and that was pulled from me. So I was talking to Brooke about this because we see it a lot with clients, people who hit their weight goals. They want to lose 100 pounds. They do. And then something happens. They get a new job, they move, a divorce, a wedding, children. It could be any variety of things. And they gain some of it back, right? Then you reach that point where it's like, well, I already lost it. Fuck it.
Yep.
And that is a point of danger. So, what I wanted to share is through this, it was the hardest thing I ever had to muster up the strength to do, to be honest with you. But I did not deviate from my plan. I was not getting results, but I kept with it because you already made it to here. You maybe got pushed back to here. It might take some time, but you're going to move forward again. If you're here and you give up, you're here now. And that was all I could think about was I've already lost so much progress. I have to hold on to whatever I can hold on to because I know the storm will end. Someday, all of the things I'm going through will no longer be going on because you've survived 100% of the things that you never thought you could survive. And it might look different. I'm getting my strength back now, but I'm still nowhere near where I was. But there's that radical acceptance piece around this might not be what I wanted. This might not be fair, but I know what my why is. And I'm going to hold on to that, even if I'm not getting that immediate gratification. And that's really hard. It's kind of like working for something that you can't see. But we do that all the time, right? We work for jobs for a salary that's completely made up. It's just a number, right? It's a number on a piece of paper. But what does that salary mean to you? It means you can provide for your family.
Yeah. I mean, I had the same thing of going through perimenopause. There were things that just all of a sudden stopped working. And I never deviated from the plan. I trained the same way, I worked out the same way, but stress hits different. And I didn't really think that was a big deal until it was. And yes, I've dealt with all the stressors, but then understanding how the stress knocked me down and how I had to take it a little bit more seriously now that I did, even though jumping back on, I didn't see the weight loss I didn't get back to where I was right away. I'm still working my way back to it, but I had a choice to say, "Welp, I can just give up and just eat the pizza and the french fries and the ice cream." Or I could say, "This is where I am. I have to learn now about how stress can affect me. I need to learn about how to navigate those times. I have to learn about what I need to implement, and I have to implement it." And let me tell you, implementing things with stress is a lot harder than following a food plan and following things because there's always stressors. And that's another aspect of it of I'll figure it out. I'm starting to kind of get back on track again. Something else is going to take me out. I'm not under the silly impression that there's not going to be some other storm that's going to be thrown at me. But at least this time, what I try to do is I'm just going to get up quicker and I'm going to learn faster. I'm going to learn more and I'm just going to kind of keep going because, like you said, my why didn't change. So I couldn't just say, well, fuck it, because my boys are still the reason that I push, are still the reason that I want to be strong, are still the reason I got to keep myself healthy. And that's not changing. So if I said, fuck it, I'm saying that I don't care about making sure I'm there for them. And that's not. So, I do know some people that will go off track and do the thing and they can say, well, I got a hard time getting back on. But some of them we can't control. I mean, I have a client that went through something. He was doing amazing, super traumatic, and actually caused an autoimmune condition in his body to flare up. And this is what we had to rule out and find out through blood work, through all of the things to figure out what the root cause was as to what had happened. But if you have somebody there to kind of show you, hey, this is what's going on, let's figure out the root of what's happening and let's target that. So it's almost like creating that new goal, that new focus is what you almost have to do.
The thing about challenges that I think the mistake most people make is they blindly hope that they won't face them.
Mm,
And then when they do, they're completely unprepared. I have been through a lot of challenges in my life. So my perspective is a little different. Not to say that I don't get angry, I don't get frustrated, I don't get sad. Do you know how many times I've cried to Brooke in the middle of a gym because like my body just won't function? Like the emotional part, we don't need to cancel that out. You're allowed to be angry that this is happening to you. You're allowed to be sad that you work for your body and your body is betraying you. But at the end of the day, the way to be successful in life is to assume there will be challenges. And when there are not, we're grateful.
yes.
But the biggest mistake people make And I see this happen a lot, usually when people get really close to their goals, where it's like a self sabotage thing, but they, they get close to their goals and they feel their ego gets a boost, right? Look what I did. I fucking did this.
Yep.
And you should feel that way. You should be proud of but don't let it cloud your judgment because things can change in an instant. And this journey is mostly predicted on your nutrition and your training. But there is a third variable, and that is life. You could get hit by a bus tomorrow and break every bone in your body. You don't know. So being disillusioned into thinking that I got it, so I'm going to keep it. No, you got to work to keep something. Just because you get it, you can celebrate getting it, but you don't just keep it forever because you got it. You earned it. And now you have to keep earning it. And I think that that's where people get frustrated. But knowing that life is never going to stop throwing challenges at us, whether they're health related or job related. It really doesn't matter the cause. If you listen to a lot of Brooke's stuff on stress, your body is feeling stress as stress. Okay. So your body doesn't know if you're being stressed because you're being chased by a lion or because someone sent you a really mean triggering message on Instagram. Can't tell the difference.
Same
So
response.
we have to be able to handle these things. So I'm choosing now that I've made it through and it's a little bit easier. I'm choosing now to look at this experience as look at what you can make it through. You thought this was going to kill you and you made it through and you didn't give up on the things that you knew were important to you, even when you weren't getting the reinforcement that you wanted. Now I know I can do that. Everything serves a purpose. And I think we don't often look at challenges as how does this benefit me? What am I gaining from this? If
It's
you
always,
look
why is this happening to me?
why, because normally it's why is this happening to me? Not why is this happening to me?
Right. Yep. Same words, just totally different meaning and understanding and it's much easier, and everybody is in that default mode of why did this happen to me? But if you spend so much time sitting there wondering why rather than figuring it out, it's the same, it's the same thing. You have a choice and you have a choice to do it. So, and it's almost like the things that I did during that time, like I've been through stressful times, and you would always tell me, like, when I was going through it, like, listen, you made it through all of them. When you're in it, it's really hard. So for me, what helped me was having you there to like, hey, girl, I get it. And it sucks. Like, but we don't have this choice. So let's go ahead and just pick back up and we got to keep moving because this is not going to do you any good either. And it's really hard when I was in it to do that for myself. So I think that's also where the coaching with our clients really comes in handy because it's easy to do it when things are going right. But having someone there to guide you and again, not like you're wrong for feeling a certain way and not for doing it for you, but to remind you of why you're doing it, remind you of the choice that you have, give up or keep going. Like those are your two choices. So it may not look like I want it to look for the next 6 months. I mean, I was stuck for probably a year before I saw anything. And that's really hard to keep going and stuck in a place that you're still doing the same things. But eventually, I figured out the root of what was going on. I figured out what I needed to do, and I just made a commitment myself to do it.
Yeah, I think there's two important pieces of what you just said. First is it doesn't negate your effort to lean on somebody. So sometimes when we're going through hard stuff, we like to keep it to ourselves. We don't want to feel like we're burdening anybody. That is the unique relationship of a coach and a client is that you're not burdening me. This is what I do. I love what I do. I don't see your concern as a burden to me. I see it as an opportunity for me to help you learn how to navigate through something. So forget family and friends, but just coach and client, lean on us. There is no shame there. We're all also human and we've all been through our own variety of different experiences. You don't become a coach of anything, coach, teacher, a helping profession. You don't do that because you hate people. You do that because you feel joy when you help people. So never question leaning on us. I'm fortunate that my best friend happens to also be a brilliant coach, so it works out pretty well. But I think the other piece of what Brooke just said that's really important is the concept of choice. And when I talk about this with clients, I think this is the number one thing I get pushback on because people don't like what I'm about to say. So sorry. But everything is a choice. So you look at something like, I don't feel like going to work today. Choice. You say, it's not a choice. I have to go to work because I have to make money. Choice. You don't have to do anything. You can lay in bed all day and get fired. You can get your lights shut off, everything you own repossessed. Those are all options available to you, and you are choosing those options. Everything that you do is a choice. It may not be the optimal choice. So I was putting in all of my effort and getting no results. Not optimal, but still a choice. Because in my brain, okay, this really sucks that I gained 15 pounds in
Mhm.
a year following the plan. Like, I could have chosen a cheeseburger every single day, but I chose not to. And that was my autonomous choice. So someone else might not make that choice. And even in things where you feel like there is no choice, there's some amount of choice. Might not be what you get to do, but maybe how you do it. Maybe you can't go to the gym and work out on like the fanciest new machines, but you could go to some little gym and move some dumbbells in different ways. Options. We get stuck in the black and white. And I mean, I literally feel like a broken record when I talk about this, but it applies to everything because it's like I'm either doing it or I'm not doing it.
It's
What
got to
about
be perfect or it's not.
and this is something I've talked to Brooke about for a long time, this concept from my therapy days around harm reduction, which is basically you can't do this. Let's find something that you can do.
Yep.
And that is always going to get you farther than, oh, I can't do it. Okay, I won't do it.
Get it. Yep. And that's the part of coaching, when people say, like, I don't, I didn't say anything, or I've had 3 clients this week because this is the season that everybody has a major family event, somebody is sick, something is going on with their job, they don't have this. These things happen and they stop communicating. Listen, if you're having trouble with a certain food, you're going to tell me, or, your digestion is off. This is no different. This is just, let's figure out why. Let's figure out some other way that we can go about this, and let's go ahead and move from there.
I had a conversation at the gym the other day, and the person I was talking to had exactly the response that I would expect someone to have, which was I've been, for years, I'm on my own journey to be as authentic to who I am as I can be, because I spent a lot of my life trying to be somebody that I wasn't. And it's working pretty well. I highly recommend it. But something I started doing a few years ago, when you see someone in passing at the gym or the grocery store or whatever, and they say, how's it going? What does everyone say? Fine, I'm fine. Chosen to answer them with whatever I actually feel. And you would be amazed at how uncomfortable it makes people.
Mhm.
People will be like, "Oh, how you doing?" In the midst of everything I just went through, my answer was usually, "My life's a shitstorm." That was the answer. And 9 out of 10 people would get very uncomfortable, not know what to do with that. But then you would get somebody who would be like, "Yeah, I hear you. Stuff's hard sometimes." And it's such a different approach, but it's kind of like what happens with our clients is like they want us to think everything's going great all the time. First of all, it's not going great all the time for anybody anywhere. Like that's not a realistic expectation of life. But society tells us that we're fine.
Yep, it's true.
So
But
that's
it is a different vibe. Like, even when you said it, like somebody that hears that just really acknowledges what you're feeling is really all you need. And having, I guess that's is why, a lot of times they're hesitant to say to their coach, I don't want them to know, I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want you to think that I just gave up. Like, I'm not thinking anything. What I would love is to be able to help you because you're trying to do something. I am here to guide you in order to help you to get there. So let's talk and figure out what we can do together and figure out the way in order to make that happen. Because that's the ultimate goal. It's not my goal, it's your goal.
and people are concerned about making you feel a certain way, whether you're their coach or your mom or whatever. It doesn't matter the relationship. It's has nothing to do with the receiving individual. It's a projection of how insecure that person feels about themselves. So if it's me and Brooke, and I don't want to tell Brooke that I'm struggling, it's because I feel shame around my struggle, not that I'm trying to save her from having to hear. That's not what that is. This is a defense mechanism. Freud created a whole bunch of them, and this is one of them. It's called projection. It's where you take your own shit and you put it on someone else. And it's really effective in making you feel better because you then don't have to take your own shit.
Yep.
So instead of thinking, I don't want to tell Brooke what's going on because this is embarrassing or whatever, how would you handle somebody saying that to you? Like, if somebody came to you with a problem, are you going to be like, wow, you should be really ashamed of yourself? No one would do that. And if you would, then you probably shouldn't be listening to our podcast. But I just think that a lot of times the thing that gets in our own way is us. Like, you're blocking a resource. Brooke is a resource. I am a resource. Like, it reminds me of, I guess I'm going to age myself here. When I was a kid and I had a school project and I had to go to the library and look it up in the encyclopedia. It is a resource that is free, obviously, like included in your service. And why would you not use it? It's like you don't know where you're going, but you refuse to use your navigation because you should know how to get there.
Mm, it's a man thing. I feel like I feel like that one's gonna hit the guys. It's all the women, they're like, "Would you just ask for directions?" Yeah, that's a thing.
But that's your ego. That ego is the same ego that tells me that I need to lift the heaviest weight I can possibly lift because I'm trying to prove something.
Mhm.
Today, I went to the gym and I lifted really light weight because I was feeling tired. My resilience wasn't so good after my night's sleep last night. And I put it on the lightest weight possible. And I did everything like super slow. And I felt today's workout probably more than I felt a workout in a really long time. But I had 3 people ask me what I was doing. Why are you lifting so light? Because the only way to make it meaningful is for it to be heavy. I fell into that category for a very long time. I still struggle with that one. But that's my ego. That's not hypertrophy. That's I need to make myself feel better with this weight. So then you get into this like compensating place. And it's all coming from a place of insecurity and shame when in reality, there's nothing to be ashamed about. I went to the gym, I had a good workout, done.
Yep,
It doesn't need to be complicated.
yep, and it's not about anybody else in their comments.
And there will be comments.
Yep,
There will be other people,
yep,
always.
but if you always have in mind I think that's time in the journey, right? Like, when people are like, "Why aren't you drinking?" And it's like, "Ugh," and I would pretend with the cup and all the things, and now I'm like, "Dude, because I don't drink, like, because I wanna be able to put my pants on, okay? Like, you're not the one having to do that, and every time I drink, that's what's going on in my body, so no thank you." But it's the same thing and I always tell people, like, if you were fasting and someone's like, "Why are you doing it?" And you say, "It's for my religion," no one's gonna say anything. Like, but it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter what anybody says, and if they're so curious about, like, why you're doing what you're doing and then keep saying things, it's probably something they're going through that they see in you, and you've said this before, is they see what I'm doing and they are, like, wishing they could do it themselves or really upset that they can't be as committed or whatever the case may be. So I just have to remember that what their words are about them and not me. Kinda like when I would tell my kids when they were little, like, "They're just not nice people and you just stay away from them."
Still applies. Definitely still applies. We get stuck in a lot of situations where we're doing things that we don't align with us. And, this is personally my own journey right now. I'm trying to only do things that align with me. And when I feel like they don't, I'm setting a boundary.
Mm,
And it's hard. It's really hard because as human beings, we want to be a part of the group. That is a natural thing. You see it with animals, you see monkeys, dog, pack mentality. Like it's just a biological thing. However, if being part of the group takes more from you than it gives you, then it's probably not your group. You probably want to look for a different group. And sometimes people get stuck because they're like, well, that's the only group I want.
mhm.
Why are you putting my dad always used to say, Amanda, you're putting yourself between a rock and a hard place. Like, literally, you're sticking yourself in that circumstance because you're not being open to things looking a little bit different. It's the same as that black and white thinking with the gray area. You can get it done, but it might look a little different, might take a little longer. But the goal is to get it done, right? So, does it matter how you do it?
Yep, it's true. It's true. But, I definitely want, in wrapping this up, I want people to understand that, number one, you're not alone if you are someone that has achieved a goal, felt amazing, and then had a setback. And really understanding that it happens to everybody, because I think that's one thing that I'm like, well, I did this and I was able to get there and now like look at me. And the more women I talk to that are in my age bracket, like we're all there, right? And people that we see all the time, we have hundreds of clients that are, going through things, achieving things, and some of them are working really hard, and sometimes life hits, things happen. So it's really being understanding that things may happen, but the choice that you have is maybe modify things for right now or quit and go all the way back to where you started. It's like, I think Kyle, what was that thing Kyle brought during the call the other day? That it was, you're at the bottom of the hill, you're at the top of the hill, but sometimes we spend so much time in the middle there.
Yeah. It's I think the number one thing I want taken away from this podcast is that you're allowed to feel however you want to feel about it. Your choice to do something about it is separate from your feelings.
Yes.
So the choice is rational. The feelings are emotional. Sometimes our emotional feelings get in the way, but sometimes they just also need to be felt and acknowledged. And you can both be working your butt off to hold on for dear life and upset that you have to.
Frustrated.
There's nothing says that you can't. There's no mutual exclusivity there. So, if you're pissed, I like to think about like an NFL player or any sport professional athlete when like you see like a running back and he tears his Achilles and he can't even walk anymore. And then a year later he's back on the field. Well, I mean, he got knocked down pretty much as far as he could get knocked down. That's his livelihood, right? But he chose to do the work, to learn how to walk again, to learn how to run and play football again. Do you think he was happy about it the whole time?
Mm,
Because he wasn't. I don't need to know him to know that. But just because you're not happy about something doesn't mean you can't push through it.
truth. Ooh. That's a nice bow. Great job, girl. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. And we hope that you got some value from this. If you wouldn't mind, please, please, please share a review. We would truly appreciate it. And if there's any other topics or things you would love us to talk about, please drop them in the comments. And till next time, we'll see you guys later. Thanks for tuning in to Master Your Metabolism. If you found value in today's episode, it would mean the world to us if you'd hit subscribe and share this episode with someone who could use a little guidance in their health journey. Ready to take the next step? Head over to www.mastersfitnesscoaching.com and you can book a free call right from the site so we can chat about your goals and how we can help support you. Don't forget to join our Facebook group where we're sharing coaching tips, support, and tricks to help keep you on track and continue making progress. You don't have to do this alone. We're here to walk with you every step of the way. Until next time, stay consistent, stay kind to yourself, and keep mastering your metabolism. Let's do this together.